I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm tired. I was up late last night. I was watching this show that I like, and I've just started watching it, but I ended up watching too many episodes. You know how it happens. You say, I'm only going to watch one more episode. Then they have that ending, and you're like, holy crap, what happen's going to happen? And you got to watch another episode. You're like, I'm only watching one more episode. And then there's another ending. Holy crap, what are you going to do about that? And then there's another episode. I stopped after 3. But let me tell you that the ending of the episode I was on, almost couldn't do it. Because one of the main dudes on the show that was dead, he got shot through the back of his head, is back. I know, right? And they messed with you because he has a dog, and 5 minutes before you see him being back, you see his dog walking through the town. And you're like, son of a... There's no way he's back! And then you're like, no, it's a glitch because it's just the dog. And then they show his face reflected in the piano he's playing. Yeah. And then I was able to just say, no, I'm going to be mature. I'm going to go to bed like a grown-up. It was still too late, though. I'm tired. Yeah, it was too late. I shouldn't have stayed up. I should have stopped at 2. That might have been okay. Because it's one of those weird showcase shows that's sometimes an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes 87 minutes. You know what I mean? I don't know why Showcase or HBO does that. They just make the show an hour. And then there's no commercials, so it's actually an hour and a half. It's not like, when you watch a show on Netflix that was an hour on TV, but it's only 40 minutes in real life. That's no big deal, right? Oh, I'll only watch one more episode, 40 minutes. But this is a long show. Now I'm all tired. In case anybody cares, it's Westworld. If you haven't been watching Westworld, you're young. No, don't watch Westworld. You shouldn't. You're not ready for it. Man in the High Castle. You can watch that one. But don't watch Westworld. All right. We talked about how you don't have to have this memorized, right? You're going to get it on a sheet? All right. I'll get you that sheet in the next couple of days. That sheet's going to be, actually, I lie. No, it's going to be one sheet. But you're going to use it off and on throughout the whole year. So it'll be a hole punch. You can put it in a binder if you want or something like that. Okay? Okay. Let's move it along, please. Now, remember how we were talking about walking to the mall? And people were guessing the distance to the mall? And you guys did not too badly a job. You were almost close to the distance to the mall. But some of my other classes thought the mall was 6 kilometers away. Okay. There's a reason I do that exercise. Because we're going to spend this whole first unit doing a whole bunch of calculations about various measurements. Distances, volumes, surface areas, things like that. And to do those calculations, a great many of you are going to indeed use your calculator, which is fine. It's a little bit of a hassle to use your brain to do some of these questions. And I believe that, and I trust that, and that's all right. But the problem I have is you people, and I don't mean just you people, I mean everybody in the world, believes their calculator or phone or whatever did the math for them. They believe that machine, and I'm using the word machine because it does not have any intelligence of its own. You believe that machine is telling you the truth. You think that machine has some sort of agenda whereby it will help you get the right answer. It will not. That machine does what you tell it to do. So when you tell it to do something wrongly, it gives you the wrong answer. However, you people, and I don't just mean you people, I mean all of the world, will write down that wrong answer. And when I say, how could you possibly think that was the right answer, you will say, and I quote, my calculator said so. Your calculator said nothing. Your calculator did what you told it to do, and you told it to do something silly. Okay? The reason I'm doing today's day, which usually bothers people, is because you people need to understand what these measurements actually look like. So when you do a bunch of work with your calculator and it gives you an answer, you can look at it and say, that answer makes sense. I think I told my calculator what to do correctly, so I believe that this is a correct answer. Do you all understand what I'm saying? Let me give you a quick example. A couple of years ago, on a test, a final exam, I gave the kids a right angle triangle problem, right? A squared, B squared, C squared. Easiest thing in the world, yeah? They had to tell me how far it was across a lake from a dock to a store. They knew that the lake was 2 kilometers wide, and they knew that the lake was 5 kilometers long. Everybody with me? They were going to take a boat from the dock to the store, diagonally up the lake. So they, of course, told me that that lake that was 5 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide, to take a boat up the lake was 29 kilometers. Because, of course, what did they forget to do? Do the square root at the end. And it was a final exam. And those kids honestly told me that their calculator said so, and the lake, soon as you get in a boat, stretches from being 5 kilometers long to being 29 kilometers long. Everybody understand? That bothers me. It frustrates me. It also discombobulates me, which is, of course, meaning to say that I cannot understand how anybody would ever write down that answer without actually thinking about it, which is why we are going to do today's exercise. Today's exercise begins with those 6 questions. Please notice that I would like for you to, and the operative word here is what? Estimate those distances in both units of measure. You don't get to measure nothing because we spent yesterday talking about reference. You can talk with a neighbor. I do not care. Go. Who would like to name the bad color? I have yellow? Okay. We will do the Imperial measurements in yellow. Because Imperial is stupid. Who would like to name the good color? Light blue, dark blue?
Light blue.
Light blue?
Light blue.
Jesse, are you actually a Tar Heels fan or just a Michael Jordan fan or just like the hoodie? Yeah, no, I know that. I understand that. But I'm asking you, was it a Michael Jordan thing or was it a Tar Heels thing? Okay.
It does look like it. A little bit.
I can see that. I understand what you're saying. It actually took me a second. I thought that the 23 was making I thought it was making a C for North Carolina. I had to look at it a little closer.
You didn't know it was 23? No. What do you think it said? I don't know.
I won't tell your dad that you didn't know that it was 23. We'll keep it between us.
I got 12 centimeters.
Isn't it?
12 centimeters on a pencil. It was 14.
pretty darn good considering you measured it with your pinky finger. You two are funny.
2.5 feet.
I like the way you talk to each other. You're talking to him like he's a moron. He's talking to you like you're a moron. One of you is not doing it right. I just can't wait to see who it is.
2.5 feet.
It's this one. It's 36 inches.
2.5 feet.
It's funny. Bite the hand that feeds me. You can walk out to a locker, Jessica.
Try and put my foot on it?
Sure. She's going to give it the a sidekick here. A Yoko Gary, if you know anything about karate. That's a pretty bad sidekick, I gotta say. Looks more like you're doing hacky sack. You know we're going to have some fun with that question, right? There's some big-ass ants in the world.
Okay, so what ant are we talking about? Like the little black ones?
The ant you see walking around here. It doesn't really matter.
It's like the length of your... No, it's same thing.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. You don't need to know the difference between length and width. That's not important. I got some Abbey Grind coffee today. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I'm pretty impressed with it. And it was only $2 to fill that.
Was it just black coffee?
Yeah. There's not much point in getting a latte and something like that. You don't get the foam.
And then
How we doing? Are we done yet? Are we done? Do all of you have 12 numbers yet? Okay, Austin. I got you. The length of the gymnasium and downsized. I haven't seen that movie yet. Is it any good?
1 foot.
You don't know or you haven't seen it? Has anybody seen the movie Downsized?
Is that the one with
Matt Damon, where he gets shrunk. Is it any good? Like, okay, from like, I gotta get some perspective here. Did you like Infinity War? Okay. Did you like...
Sorry, did that hurt your feelings?
What?
He's mad that I didn't like Infinity War.
Oh, I didn't like Infinity War either. I slept through it. That whole movie needed 5 minutes. Rings.
Second one.
I know, right? All those Marvel movies put me to sleep because there's about an hour and a half of exposition in the middle that you don't need.
What's the drop?
I shouldn't say that. Ant-Man and the Wasp would keep me awake because I got a crush on Evangeline Lilly.
I'm going with her too.
What? Why? That was the name of the heroes. It was Ant-Man and Wasp. That was who they were. That's like saying, why would they call Spider-Man Spider-Man? That's his name. Oh, speaking of Spider-Man, keep going. But then you know what it's about. You don't have to go and say, oh, I wonder what this movie's going to be about. Well, it's going to be about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Oh, okay. Who's seen Into the Spider-Verse? I hear that was good stuff. Yeah?
Like, come on.
Okay. But I'm going to see Bohemian Rhapsody first. Because I love Queen. All right. That should be enough time. Who has a guess for the width of their locker in Imperial or SI? I don't care. Colin, what do you think? 60? 60? Okay. Well, I said SI or Imperial. Who else has a guess? In either one, I do not care. Hey, Henry. I nearly called you Hayden. Sorry, Henry. 30 centimeters. Priya. A foot and a quarter. Okay. So that would be 1 foot 3 inches. 1 foot. By the way, one little apostrophe is foot. Quotation marks are inches, if you did not know that. 1 foot 3 inches. Because, of course, 3 inches is a quarter of a foot. Wait a minute. All right. Anybody else? Hannah, hit me. Pardon me? 1 foot. Straight up 1 foot. Where is my stupid light? There it is. Yeah. Anybody else? Austin, hit me. 1.5 feet. So 18 inches or 1 foot 6 inches. All right. Good. We've got 5 guesses. It is actually 13.5 inches. So, 1 foot 3 inches was 15 inches. Pretty good estimate. Well done, Priya and Toby. They will fight now about who got it right because they were being very mean to each other up here, everyone. It was pretty appalling, actually. If it was on a children's show, we'd have to have a moral of the story at the end of it. And one of them would be like, oh, I'm sorry. And the other one would be, that's okay, I was doing it too. At the end, and everyone would be happy. Like if they were puppets or cartoons or something and it was on Treehouse. Do any of you have little kids in your lives and are forced to still watch Treehouse? No? You're lucky. All right. The Flash is good stuff. I love The Flash. My kids keep wanting to get on The Flash. My daughter was auditioned for like 5 different things on Supergirl and The Flash. She didn't get any of them. But they always chose... My daughter has blonde hair and blue eyes. She doesn't get chosen for a lot of things that want to show any kind of diversity. She doesn't get a lot. Every one of her roles went to other folk, which is fine. I don't mind. It's true. 5 roles. One time, though, she auditioned. They actually auditioned her for a role as a daughter of an Asian family. And my daughter had to send in headshots. They knew what she looked like. And they said, I'll bring her in anyway. Yes, I know it's 2019. I'm well aware of that. Makeup. All right. Height of your desk. Who's got one? Colin, hit me again. Which is it going to be? 73 centimeters. Colin goes imperial or metric again. Not metric. 73. What else we got? Levi, hit me. 1 meter. He's going with 1 meter, which is, of course, 100 centimeters. Jordan, hit me. 1 yard. Oh, you sneaky why-I-oughta. 1 yard. What else? Anu. 2.5 feet. So 2 feet. Oh, I got the thick felt pen out that time. 2 feet 6 inches. What else we got? Nobody? Are we happy with that? Oh, Hazel? 2 feet 3 inches. Sounds like Price is Right out here. $1. Jesse? 0.8 of a meter, which is, of course, how many centimeters? 80. Anybody else? I don't remember the height of the desk, so let's measure, shall we? The floor to the top of the desk where you would write on it. That would be the height. When you measure your height for you, you don't measure up to your eyes. You measure to the top of your head. Dun, dun, dun. 77 centimeters. Who was the 73? Yeah, you went over. You wouldn't win the prize on Price is Right.
We had 75.
75? Oh, yeah, now, as soon as they see the real answer, we had 75, Mr. Myers, we had 75. A yard is 91 centimeters. So, I would say, if we were on Price is Right, Colin wins. If we were not on Price is Right, Jesse wins. And the people that had a guess but didn't have the cojones to give it get nothing. Just kidding. Good job. All right, length of the your pencil. Now, this will change for everybody, won't it? Right? So, what do you got?
13 inches.
We got 13 inches?
Centimeters.
Holy Toledo, that'd be tough to write with.
It'd be fine. It'd work.
It would work, because in grade 3, somebody brought me one of those Niagara Falls pencils that are like that long. And my teacher was like, you can't write with that, Matthew. And of course I was like, yes I can, Miss Carlisle. And I wrote the whole day with that giant pencil. It sucked. It was the worst. But I was such a dink that I wouldn't stop using it. And Mrs. Carlisle, being the nice teacher she was, kept letting me make my own problems. And then, end of the day, it's like, Matthew, do you have your work done? I'm still working on it, Miss Carlisle. That's because you're using that giant stupid pencil. She didn't say it that way, but that's what she meant. I love Mrs. Carlisle. She was so nice. Then she had a baby and left, and we got a horrible sub for the rest of the year. I didn't like her. Her name was, no, I won't say her name because she may still be a teacher. She was young, but it was 1983, so she'd be really old now. She's probably retired, but I'm not saying her name anyway. But I didn't like her. All right, pencil, yes, not the giant Niagara Falls pencil. Austin, what you got? 5.5 inches. 5.5 inches. What else? Wait, Manru. No, yes. Manru. 5 inches. Jordan. 9.8 centimeters. Interesting. Colin. 9.8, 13. Hazel. 14. It is like Price is Right. Okay, again. Henry? What? 15. Okay. So again, the point I'm trying to make is, why am I getting you to make these guesses? So you can start seeing in your head how long these distances are. All right? So when you do work, you don't tell me something stupid. Okay? So all of those are good, solid estimates. My magic pen is 14.7 centimeters long. Nice job. Okay, now we start to have a little bit of fun. The length of an ant. What kind of ant? Just a typical, regular, everyday ant. What do you got? Levi? 3 millimeters? Woo, that's a tiny ant. 3 millimeters. Anybody else got one? 1/8 of an inch. Oh no, I've switched to blue in the wrong spot. 1/8. Anybody else? 7 millimeters. All right, now here's where we start to have a little bit of fun. Oh, okay. All right. Now, just out of curiosity, what's the longest ant in the world?
1 foot.
A foot-long ant?
Yes. I'm warm.
Good gravy. That's a big ant. So 20th century research, 21st century research, Wikipedia. Ants. Range in size. Where is it? It's on here. From 0.75 of a millimeter, that tiny, 0.75 of a single millimeter, up to 52 millimeters, which is 2 inches. In case anybody cares, that is the length of the biggest ants in the world. I would not want one of those crawling on me. That would freak me out. And I am not a wuss. Now, the largest species was a fossil, which was 6 centimeters long. Oh, fossils! Did you guys hear about that? The dinosaur in the weird level of rock that still has like skin on it and stuff that it ate in its belly. It's Jurassic Park crap, man. There's actual DNA now. Yeah. Until people do something stupid and try to clone a dinosaur. I mean, they've already made, 6 movies about how that's a bad idea. They're still going to do it. They've already made 1 million movies about how artificial intelligence is a bad idea, but we still keep trying to do it. They are all exactly the same movie. I assume we're talking about Jurassic Park still. They could have stopped at 1. Yeah. Oh man, cloning dinosaurs is a bad idea. All right. Length of ant. Yeah, so good guesses all the way around. I noticed nobody guessed 2 inches, which is good because, of course, we don't live somewhere where 2-inch ants live. I believe those are the bullet ants, which are widely hailed to possess the most painful bite of any animal in the world. I do not know for sure. Anybody got height of a giraffe? What do you think? How tall is a giraffe? 16 kilometers. How tall is a giraffe? 15 foot 6. Okay. Manroop, what do you got? 6 meters. Austin. 9 meters. You don't know if it's a really big giraffe. Maybe that's just right. Levi. 5 meters. Anybody else? Jordan. 9.5 meters. Jurassic giraffe. No, I know. Sebastian. 27 feet. Coming back over. I got a giraffe story. I know, it's crazy, right? You would think there were some things that you could say without me having a story about it, but there aren't that many. I got a giraffe story. Colin. 10 meters. Woo! All right. Now, you guys I have to pause. So, length of the gym. What do we got? This is my favorite because most of you guys have no idea. What do you got? 94 feet. Because you know that's the length of a basketball court. Yes. It is just about 94 feet. Meters? 30-ish, yeah. 30-ish meters, 94 feet. Because a basketball court is 94 feet long. And our gyms are just a hair longer than a basketball court. Yay! Good job, everyone. Now let's do some thinking. Thinking is fun. It's my favorite thing to do. Discuss with the person sitting beside you how you might measure the circumference of my coffee cup. How does pi r squared get me the circumference? I want to know how to measure. Yeah, that's a circumference.
Okay, well, if you found out how many centimeters were across it, don't you just times by 5?
Yep, that's one way you could have done it.
find half of it, which is the radius. Times that by 2 times
So our first guess was measure the diameter and multiply by pi. Well done there. Colin?
Take the width by 2 and times pi.
Yeah, the width is the diameter times pi. Yep. Jordan? You threw your hand up. I assumed you had an answer. You can just say you were stretching, dude. I'm not trying to stress you out. Okay. Relax. Anybody else? Anu? You could use a tape measure because they're flexible, right? So you could roll a flexible tape measure, like one of those ones that you get at IKEA or for fabric. You know those ones everyone steals from IKEA when they leave? Those ones? What else could you do? I heard Toby say it, I think. Oh. Huh? String. Yeah, you could put a string around it and then flatten the string. Anybody else? I can think of one more way. Colin.
Radius times pi.
Yep, you could use the radius, so that would be half the diameter. Anybody else? Nobody can. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Wait. Oh, hey. Oh, no. Oh, you could roll it. What? If you put it on the ground and you roll it, one whole turn, you would get the distance of the circumference. Yay! Now, next one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is something at work in these questions, something I am doing on purpose that you are not privy to yet. So just try to answer the questions as best you can. Now, I used to keep a toaster oven in my classroom, but I have since upgraded to a microwave. But I was too lazy to change my notes. So there's the microwave. The glass is on the front of it. How might you accurately measure the glass door? Henry. Pardon? A ruler? Go have a look at it. Is it flat?
Oh, no.
Okay. Colin.
Open it and measure the back of the door.
You sneaky. You could open it and measure the back because the back is flat. Okay. What else? Manru. Tape. Okay. Nobody else? Okay, now this is where, what? String again, okay. Now this, oh wait, Levi. You'd measure the top of the door.
Just the glass part?
Just the glass part. Okay. Now this is where you start to learn what I am doing here. The reason I've written this question the way I've written it. What am I asking you to measure? What's wrong with that question? Okay, Priya, you're going to make it this difficult for me? Fine. I will play your game. I will play your game. There. Now what's wrong with the question? Pardon me? Now what's wrong with the question? Manru. Now what's wrong with the question, Jesse? You're getting warm. Oh, Jessica, you're getting even warmer. Jessica said there is no way to accurately measure it. Colin?
Can't accurately measure because you can. Is the gap between is too small for the tools?
Oh, I hear what you're saying. But there are tools that could do the job. All right. The problem with the question is that word right there. Why? Sale. You don't know what you're measuring. What are measurements? What are some measurements you could take of that glass, plastic, whatever you want to call it? Echem. You could do the perimeter. What else? The area. What else? The volume. What else? The length. The width. The diagonal. There's a million measurements we could take from that, yes? Did I tell you what I was looking for? That is a bad question. Everybody understand? All right. No, it's there for a reason, right? The velocity. Slam! Myers was really angry that day. I know it's blue, don't worry. Measure what? Measurement needs to be accurate. Why would we measure something if we didn't need accuracy? Everybody understand? So what should that question really have said? It needed to tell you what measurement you were seeking. Volume, surface area, length, width, diagonal, whatever. Everybody good? Now, this next question. How might you, and I'm using the word actually. What does that word mean? Like you're actually going to do it. You're going to measure from here to the office. How might you actually do that? Talk to your neighbor, figure out some ways. Go. Read the question, Levi. From my front door to the front door of the office. Manroot? Oh, not yet, not yet. Thought you were asking me a question. Give me some guesses first. Yeah. Well, again, Ken, this one is, again, slightly misleading, right? Because I haven't told you what I want. But this one you can kind of guess, right? You're measuring something between two spots. You're not going to measure the volume of air between them. You're going to measure the distance between them, right? Okay. And technically you could say, like when we were walking to the mall, yes, technically you could walk to Chilliwack, then out to Agassiz, then over the bridge in Agassiz, then all the way back down the number 7 to the Mission Bridge, then walk over the Mission Bridge, then walk down the hill into Matsqui Flats, then walk up the hill on Gladwin, and then you would be at the mall. But that would be significantly longer. One sec, Colin, and I'll give everybody a chance. And I'm going to pretend to paddle a kayak while I'm here. Okay, Colin, go.
So is it the exact distance from the door, like you would do with the floor, or do you do the distance with the actual sportsman you go?
I hear what you're asking. Actually measure. So the way that you could get from here to there, how far would you have to go? Actually. Priya, what would you do? Excellent. Your route is going to change, isn't it? The distance from here to the office changes depending on the route you are going to go. And indeed, even if two people walk the same route, one person could walk a little curvy, one person. So there's some assumptions that we have to make, yes? Before we answer this question, we have to make some assumptions. What are those assumptions? They are that we are going to take what? We're going to take the shortest possible route. Right? And it's the one that we can all take. I can't even take the elevator. I don't have a key. So, that's one of the assumptions we got to make. Because when we're doing questions like this, we always make some assumptions. We bring something to the party, right? So we have brought the assumption that we are going to take the shortest possible route. So what Priya is saying, you wouldn't walk out of here, walk over to the garbage cans, then back over to there, then walk around the rotunda to see your friend. Then, right? You take the shortest possible route. So once we've made that assumption, how would we measure it? Manroop, go. Now say your thing. Yes, the trundle wheel. That doesn't work very well downstairs, does it? Yes, there's a flat part down the side. Oh, you'd run it down the handrail. Or the wall. Okay, so trundle wheel. So that was something we could use. A trundle wheel. What else? Toby? A really long tape measure. Absolutely right. They exist. I've seen 1,000-foot tape measures. They're gigantic. What else? Levi? GPS. 21st century. What else? Eckham? A pedometer. Absolutely right. A pedometer. Would a pedometer find me the actual distance? What would it find me? Your steps. So how could you use that to find the actual distance? Measure your step and multiply. Absolutely well done. Good. Ken? Pardon me? Oh, yeah, a string or a rope. Hazel, did you have something else? I saw a hand go up over there. No? Are we happy with all these things? Those are all good actual ways to do this, yes? How could you do it without actually doing it? Manru? Pardon me? No, that would still require me to go to the office. I want to know the distance from here to the office without leaving my ass because I'm lazy. How could I order a student to take a piece of rope and go down there? Yes, I could do that. Colin?
Use a map of the school.
Yeah, good one. If that actually wasn't there, I could do this with the plans of the school, couldn't I? Because the plans of the school are a scale drawing of the school, right? When they built the school, they did not draw or build a model of the school as big as the school. They did not build the school somewhere, say, yep, that's how we're going to build the school, then take it apart and bring it here. They had a plan. So I could also have used blueprints if the word actually wasn't there. Nice. Now, 5 seconds. Name 4 things we use to measure. Ruler. Tape measure. No. Protractors do not measure distance. Trundle wheel. Hey, Mr. Como. What is something else we could measure with? Radar. Oh, you and your 21st century. Radar. Fine. Anything else? Sure, we can use string. We can use lasers. Laser beams, like Dr. Evil. What, Hazel?
They don't work very well, but there's this new app on the iPhone, and it lets you measure things.
Oh, yeah? Oh, see, that's how old I am. I didn't even know. That turns out there is an app for that. And it's not accurate? Well, that's not that surprising. It's decent, but it's not accurate? 50-50? It's interesting how one of you says it's decent and one of you says it's 50-50. 80%. Well, that sounds like an experiment for a very future soon-to-be math class. I think we need to get that app and do some measuring and see how well it works. Eckham. Ruler, meter stick. Okay. Well done. All righty. Turn the page over, please. Now, we're actually going to practice some skills with this. Now, In SI, how do measurements work? Centimeters, millimeters. We break the measurements down based on the prefix, right? How low can we go? Is there smaller than a millimeter? Do we use it very often? No, but we can go smaller. And we always know how long it is based on the prefix, right? And we keep dividing by 10. Everybody's cool with that? Okay, so in SI, it's really easy. The prefix tells us the units. And they are all, of course, fractions. If we're doing distance, they are fractions of what unit? Right, they're all fractions of a meter. And we continue to break it down. I can't remember what's below picometer, which is like a billionth of a meter. But it does get smaller. We use those numbers when we're measuring like the diameter of an atom. Okay? Everybody cool? And of course, it works the other way too, right? Deca, hecto, kilo, mega, giga, tera. What was the next one? We talked about it yesterday, and I can't remember what it is. What's after tera? Peta. Petabyte, and then I don't know what's after peta. Because anything that big, I just, really? Okay, so SI is easy. We always break it down. And since we divide or multiply by 10, we always use decimals, right? Okay. Imperial, which we're doing in yellow. How does imperial break down? What's the smallest imperial measurement? An inch. And there is no breaking that down into decimals. Inches is as low as we go. So we must use fractions. Now, obviously, you're intelligent young people. If we're going to measure an atom down to the picometer, then measuring that in imperial must be really frustrating, yes? Because we are getting down to gigantically large denominators, right? Or we're going to use decimals. But decimals don't really work in imperial. Why? Colin? Well, yeah, because they're measured in fractions, and decimals work measured on 10, right? That's why they're called decimals. So, because of where we live in the world, and because we are forced to still use inches and feet when we are doing a whole bunch of different calculations in our lives, we should know how to read a tape measure. And most tape measures are split into 1/16 of an inch. So, what does that mean? Well, that is 1 inch. And you will notice that the full inches get the long lines. Everybody see? Okay. So what is the next longest line? 1/2 inch. How do you know it's a half? Because it's right in between, right? What gets the next longest line? 1/4. And what gets the next longest line? 1/8. And what gets the tiniest line? 1/16. All right? Now, if you're going to measure something, knowing those lines is very helpful. Because if you don't know those lines, and I tell you to find a distance on here, you're going to be counting, aren't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9/16. But if you know those lines, you can make it much quicker, yes? Because 1/16 is the lowest. What is 1/8? How many 16ths is 1/8? 2. How many 16ths is 1/4? 4. How many 16ths is a half? 8. So all of you now should be able to tell me those 5 distances. And since it's imperial, it is always in fractions. No decimals allowed. You can talk to your neighbor if you wish. Tell me those 4 distances. See you, Mr. Como. Hazel's done. She said done, right? It's because Mr. Como was still here. Now, in case any of you care, for the most part, when you're building stuff, they really don't measure that exact. Okay, who's got the first one for me? Who's got the first one for me? Colin. 1/4 of an inch. Or, of course, 4/16, right? But we wouldn't say 4/16 because it's 1/4 of an inch. What about this guy right here? 11 what? 11/16. Absolutely right. This one? 1 3/8. This one? 2 13/16. And lastly, 3 7/16. Is everybody good? The littlest ticks usually, please notice that word, commonly, the littlest spaces are 1/16 of an inch. Right? Usually. Go down to the next one. I threw you some nice easy ones. The top ones are metric. What are they? And then do the bottom ones as well. The SI ones are the simple ones. I'm going with pink today. What do we got? .4, because it's SI, we're allowed to use decimals. Now, if I told you I wanted this in centimeters, that's the answer. If I wanted in centimeters and millimeters, what's the answer? No, centimeters and millimeters. 11 centimeters and 4 millimeters. If I want it completely in millimeters, what's the answer? 114 millimeters. Everybody good? Okay, what's this one? It's tricky. 13. It's not tricky, I'm messing with your heads. Ha 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 ha. What's this one? 0.7. Now, tell me this in meters. 0.13 of a meter. What is this in meters? 0.167 of a meter. Now, if I wanted to be a real chump, could I tell you to tell me this distance in kilometers? Of course I could. Would it be a very large or a very tiny number? Very, very tiny. Because I would need to add how many more zeros here to get up to kilometer? 3, because kilo is 1,000. Everybody understand? So this distance in kilometers, which you would never use, that's a math class question, isn't it? That's not a real world question. Hey, how long's that piece of wood you got over there? Oh, it's 0.00067 kilometers. So that would be 0.000167 kilometers. Which is, of course, like I say, a math class question. Now, do the 4 imperial ones. And now that you've had a look at it, I will remind you, be careful. Right, Arsh? Because if you're not careful, you're going to give me the wrong answers here, aren't you? All right, who's ready? What's this guy? 4 and 5/8. Oh, I didn't fool anyone. Why is it 8? Because it hasn't been split into 16ths. There's only 8 little chunks between numbers. So this guy is 5 and what? 5.5. Would we ever say 5.5? Why not? Because it's imperial. What's this? 6 and 7/8. And what's this? 7 1/4. Yay! Everybody good? Now, you'll see again, I'm keeping it very light at the beginning of the year. Your next 2 pages are simply a reminder of how to add and subtract fractions. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Now, of course, a bunch of you are going to do that thing where you do like 2 of the questions, get a couple of the letters from the code, and then start working backwards and forwards from the code and not doing the math, just so you get the answer to the joke. Don't do that. This is math class. Do the math. No, these ones are really bad. They're not even the beginning of funny. These ones suck. But further on, I have more puzzle sheets that I do, and some of them are downright hilarious. But these 2 aren't very funny. They're just ones about fractions. And I need to see how people handle their fractions before I carry on. Again, do the math. Don't worry too much about how to solve the code. You can start on whichever one you want. If you're only going to do one, you have hockey practice tonight or something like that, then I would highly recommend doing only page 15, because page 15 has add, subtract, multiply, and divide. I know that as soon as I say that, I have immediately doomed myself to having nobody doing page 14. But you weren't going to do it anyway, so. Anu, of course you can.